listening to The Creative Download, a podcast to inspire and encourage others to live in the fullness of their creativity.
Well, hello, you guys. Welcome back to The Creative Download. This is Season 2, Episode 6, and Part 2 on overcoming obstacles in life with art. So continuing with art, no matter what the obstacle is. So excited that today we do have a guest, my good friend and mentor, Brita Ferm, who's also an amazing artist, pianist, and has been through many obstacles, but continues her art. And we'll get into that in a little bit. And if you're just popping in, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, on all the podcast platforms. So find your choice of where, but we'd love to hear from you on Instagram and love a follow on Instagram. It's the Creative Download podcast. So let's just dive in, because I know this is going to be a fun conversation. We're going to be talking a lot with a lot of good stuff. And we always start off on what we're working on creatively. So Chelsea, kick it off.
Hi guys, it's so good to be here again. I'm so excited about season 2, episode 6. Brita, thank you for joining us. So I'm very excited. I started a writing support kind of class thing with a friend of mine who she's starting to teach this. So I jumped in with her. It's like a 5-week course. And so I am like finally jumping into and writing the draft of my novel that's been in my head for 15 years. It's called The Truth of the Tale right now. That'll probably change, I imagine. So that's really exciting. I'm only about, 8 or 9 pages into it, but I've been brainstorming and coming up with stuff for years and years. So, so that's great. So I'll kind of keep you guys posted as that progresses. I'm also working on one of my chanting kind of pieces called Sound of the Stars.
I love that so much.
I actually got to share it at a like this song circle kind of women's thing that I did a couple weeks ago. And it was so fun because it was all a cappella, and we just did one of the verses and I sang it to them, and then they sang it back to learn it. And then a couple of the gals in there were obviously singers and musicians of some sort. And they were like, "Ooh, we hear like echoes. Can we just echo you?" And so, the hostess, she recorded it. So I have the audio recording of me singing and them echoing. Oh, and it's so fun to hear it like come to life.
Yes.
So that was really cool. And then I'm working on my song Sinking Under, specifically focusing on the cello part. And I'm trying to figure out the right hand of my piano where I want to go with it. Like I have to break things down into left and right hand, to just the way my brain works. maybe I'm not alone in that, but, so I feel really good because I finally am like sitting down to work on these things that, it's very satisfying. Anyways, kind of a long explanation there. What about you, Christy?
So excited. I love it. God, I can't wait to hear the full music to the Sound of the Stars, because I really love that. And that just sounds so exciting to me. Well, I worked on our characters this week on our TV series, and I'm really finding that is so much fun. And I know when you and I worked on the characters together a couple of times, and we talk about this a little bit more now, we're putting together a pitch to pitch a television show and a pilot, which is super exciting, and one that both Chelsea and I have been thinking about for years to do. So having it come together, but I just had so much fun with the characters, and I really am realizing like characters live in my head a lot.
Yes, I get that.
So I had no problem sitting down, and I love now we have a structure, which I think is so important with this kind of writing, that we were given a tool, on how to structure this. And so it's making it flow. It's helping it flow a little bit. We're really busy in our real estate business right now, which is a lot of fun too. We have been approached to sell some commercial business, which is a new avenue. So Drew, my husband, is stepping into learning that part of real estate, not just residential, which opens up a whole other, more like multifamily, not necessarily, focused kind of like side of residential. So I'm learning some of that. And then we have three new songs that I have written with my co-writer Lori, and they're all written on piano with this young man Jackson Poling, who's in Vancouver or outside of Vancouver, and he is an amazing pianist.
That's
So this
phenomenal.
was really fun, and it's a different style of. It's different working with piano versus guitar because all of the
Yeah.
songs we did with George were guitar, like driven in this actual writing part. So we just finished a song, "This Is Your Life," and we're producing it with another Sync Titan. So we're prepping
Yay.
that and actually have two versions, an anthemic version now and a singer-songwriter version that kind of came to life. I'm busy.
Awesome. You
Fun
are.
busy. I
I
love my
love it.
life so much right now. And it's really funny. I will say too, like Jody Friedman, shout out to him at Sync Titans because he's an amazing mentor and music coach too. And he had a great coaching session. I hope he'll be on our podcast one day. And he's talking about like, you have to, change as you go in life. He calls it wrecking the room, and he could explain more of that. But I am loving the room I'm in right now. I'm like, I don't want to wreck anything. I want to be
Yeah.
right continuing what I'm doing. So now that's enough for me. Brita, what are you working on?
Okay, I was trying to think last night because I've had a recent injury and I'm just now getting off the pain meds, so my mind is clearing.
Hey,
And my main focus right now is a party that I'm giving in the middle of May. And it's for me, it's my 75th birthday party.
Fun.
And I'm giving it in San Diego, even though I live near Chicago.
Yay.
So I'm planning menus and decor and little gifts for people. And, finally got the invitations. I'll actually show you one. It's really cute. I don't know if you guys can
oh
see
yeah,
that.
Oh, I
oh
love
yeah.
that.
Well,
Got my little starfish
Eat
on
dessert
there.
first. I love it.
Yeah. So starfish are like my totem, I guess.
Oh,
And so that's mostly what I'm focusing on right now. I've been wanting to play the piano, but my piano is covered with stuff because we had to move the whole living room around to get a bed in there for me. But this will make me more, interested in getting back to it. And I'm having to teach myself a different way to play the piano, and we can talk about that later. But
yeah.
yeah,
I love
so
that.
that's me.
Yay.
well, thank you, Brita. And let me tell our audience a little bit more about you because you have quite a background, and I've known you for about 7 years, I think now. And
Hmm.
you've been my mentor and my friend, and like I would consider you like my life coach. Like I go to you for so much because you have so much to bring to me, and I think to our audience as well. So Brita is the author of the book Secret Families, Problem Families, which I love and refer to a lot as a parent. The host of two podcasts, the Loving Parent podcast, which is amazing, and the No More Elections podcast, which is I'm very excited for her to talk about on this show too, because this is on a lot of people's minds right now. We're living in kind of some wild times here in America. And the world. She's an accomplished pianist, and I mean accomplished pianist, an amazing painter. She is a wife. She's a mom, mother-in-law. She's also known as Grams, she's
No.
grandma, and my mentor and friend. And just to give you a little background on her, too, in her previous iterations of her professional life, she's worked as a telephone operator, big box store manager, corporate billing clerk, nonprofit grant writer, and an artist. She went to college in her late 30s, which I love because I graduated when I was just turning 30, earning a bachelor's in science and health science and a master's in education. She founded or co-founded Happy Child Inc. and served as its executive director and principal investigator. Happy Child did provide substance abuse prevention education to children and reparenting classes for adults while researching self-esteem in the families before and after the classes. It was funded by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. That is quite
That's amazing.
life.
I
So
know.
I
Wow.
know, I'm so excited because we can go in all kinds of directions with
Hmm.
you. I do want to just kick off because one of the things that really stands out about me, about you, in my relationship with you is how you pivot in life when life throws you a curveball
Mm.
or when an obstacle shows up. Like you are such a great example of that. And in your like you mentioned with playing piano, maybe you can go into that with us, like what you were doing as a
Okay.
pianist and where you went and how you've had to and why you've had to relearn piano and also art, because I'd love for you to share that part of your story.
Mhm.
Okay. The piano part, I started taking lessons when I was a little girl and showed some talent. And so my parents invested in a really good teacher when we moved to Montgomery, Alabama. And her name was Helen Boykin. She was a composer as well as a teacher. And I got to study with her for probably 8 years
Wow.
as a junior high and high school student. So I learned classical piano from her. And I gave my own recitals where I played the entire program. I was also able to do some recordings with a symphony orchestra,
Wow.
not one of the well-known ones, but boy, what an experience that was as a young adult. And then when I was, oh, I guess late 20s, I was playing Chopin one day and I realized that I couldn't see my left hand while I was reading the music. And normally I would read the music and you can catch your hands out of your peripheral vision. And I thought, man, that is weird. So I called my eye doctor and he said, yeah, you better come in. And then he just really matter of factly said, oh, yeah, you have histoplasmosis. You'll probably be blind in 2 years and come back and see me in 6 months. And I found out histo is a fungus carried by migratory birds and chickens. And we have a tremendous starling problem in central and northern Illinois, and their droppings contain this histoplasmosis fungus.
Mm.
And in most people, it stays in the lungs and they think they've had a bad cold. And in a few people, it goes to their eyes and it attacks the retina right in the dead center of the retina. So I have lost most of my central vision.
Mm.
My musical talent was sight reading.
Oh
I
man.
could sight read anything. I mean, I used to play for one of the high schools where I lived, helping the instructor out. And he would put an Irving Berlin score in front of me for a musical, and I would just play it. I can't see it anymore. And I have tried and tried and tried with all kinds of technology to be able to read music, and I just can't.
Yeah.
So I've learned over the years that most people have either the talent of playing by ear or the talent of reading music.
Yeah.
Most people don't have both. So I am laboriously teaching myself to play by ear.
Wow.
And I'm getting better at it. I'm definitely, I mean, I know my chords, so I'm just having to figure out how to listen and do chords. And it's a challenge.
Wow.
But when we moved here, I was able to, my living room is huge, and I was able to buy my own grand piano. And
Mhm.
that inspires me to get over there and play a few chords.
Yeah.
I just,
Wow.
I love that about you. I mean, because so
Yeah.
many people would quit, and
Yeah.
it's like learning a different language, I think, as you were
Yeah.
speaking.
Hmm.
It's, the way our brains, I know for like Chelsea and I talk a lot about doing like active listening, and
Hmm.
like even with producing, you have to do this active listening to listen for the different instruments. Like that's a whole, it can be really exhausting, actually. I
Mhm.
Yes.
don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
And
is
then
amazing.
the art part of it, the actual painting and that kind of stuff, I've loved art since I was a little girl and had books about art and artists and started collecting art as soon as I could afford little tiny pieces that I would see at a little art show.
Oh,
And once my vision went bad, I couldn't see those pieces. And
dang.
I was watching a decorating show one day, and this guy was showing how he had copied some artists on the internet onto his kitchen cabinets in great big relief. And I thought, I have very ratty kitchen cabinets and I can do that. So I found an artist I liked. He's Brazilian. His name's Romero Brito, which I thought was interesting that his name was so close to mine.
Yeah.
And I copied a couple of his paintings and they're very blocky with black lines outlining. So they're really easy for me to see. And I thought, this is fun. So the cabinets on the other side, I just looked out the window and drew what I saw in kind of his style and painted those. And then I painted one very similar on just a piece of masonite, big masonite, 24 by 30, and put it up on the internet just to show people. And somebody liked it and bought it. And I shipped it off to Colorado.
Hey.
I know, my very first original painting.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so I still paint. I do art shows. I had a studio here in my little town for the last 3 years, but it had to close. So I'm back to finding space in my house. But I'm hoping to do another studio. I'm hoping to get that going for the community again.
I love that.
You know
Gosh.
what I love that you did too is that you posted it right away
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
because and then sold it because like that
Yeah.
right,
to me is like
right.
what? Like how'd you do that so fast? You know, it's like
Well, and
there's
my family was amazed. They're like, we don't paint. We don't even draw
yeah,
stick figures. How did you do this?
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. And
yes.
I did a painting of my mother who used to sit on the floor in the laundry room and talk to our dog. And I swear that dog kept her sane.
Oh.
And my sister said the dog's name was Joe, and she said, how did you get Joe in there? I said, I don't know. I just kept dabbing paint until Joe showed up, and then I quit. And most artists will tell you the key to painting is knowing when to quit. And
Yeah.
Joe taught me that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Oh man. I think, yeah, and I
Taking
think that's a
notes.
Okay,
yes.
then.
Um, yeah, I think that's really important actually. What you just said, we're kind of learning in our in this writing, class that I'm doing this the my friend, the instructor, she's like, there's a time when you need to know or she's like, you need to know when it's time to fire yourself,
Mhm.
from the certain process of, the writing, somewhere in there,
Right.
because, there's times when you're just like, okay, it needs to be done, and you need to stop, and it's time to move on to the, editing or whatever
Right.
it may be. But
Yeah.
The song. It's like there's
yes.
the same thing with a song. There's a time to say enough, move on to the
Mhm.
next song, or because you can just that's like kind of the surrender too of letting the art piece come in or the song or the writing come in and come
Right.
out. I used to teach my students because I think, and this can kind of lead us into some other stuff because I know you have an education background and so Brita and I like to talk about all the education stuff and I
Oh,
do a
yeah.
lot on this show, but I always taught my fourth graders and my middle schoolers that, you get all this input in the world, right? Like in your school and in your life, you have a lot of input going into your brain and art and music is a way to do the output of how you perceive
Hmm.
what's going on. And so when we don't have the output, which we've cut so much of that in
I
schools,
know.
we really struggle, I think, as a culture. And
Mhm.
so, the input that we get, like right now, we're in this really crazy time. And I ran into a friend of mine who she walked by my office, and she's a fantastic artist. She's sold her art. She's been in all these art shows. She's brilliant and just lovely. And I asked her how her art was going. I haven't done art, she said, since October 7th. Since
Wow.
Israel
The
was,
attack on Israel. Yeah.
she was so devastated. She's like, I'm so devastated by everything's going on. I can't do my art. And
Mm.
I was so taken aback because I was like, to me, that would be like, what? And I said, why can't you do your art? And she goes, I just can't do it. And I said, I would love for you to do your art now. Like, this is like a time I want to see your art. And she goes, I will not do art in a negative way. And I was like, oh, and it really, I mean, I am still bothered by
Hmm.
like the intensity of an artist being just it because I get it too. Like I've had to stop my art,
Mhm.
because I can't do it, just for whatever
Right.
reason. And I think, and it just kept with me for like days what she said, that
Yeah.
we can be so impacted that we can't do our art. And I think for me, and I think Brita, you do this, Chelsea, you definitely do this because we talk about it all the time. I have different avenues of art now
Hmm.
because there are some that I'm like, I have to put that down. Like it's overwhelming
Yeah.
me. I also want to honor that she wants to feel what happened. She
Mhm.
doesn't like she does she's being her authentic self because the art she likes to do is really bright, happy
Mm.
colors. Well, I'm just so dark. I'm like, I'm gonna go dark. And I was trying to encourage her to, and she was like, I'm not doing that with my art. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
So
So
interesting.
I'm hoping that something comes to her for her output, because I feel like
Yeah.
it's so important. It would be lovely for us to all and more important for us to see. And I think we're
Yeah.
in a time right now in our culture where art is really important,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which,
I was just thinking on September 11th,
yeah.
I was living at the beach in San Diego and I had a ratty fence around my yard and it was all gray and kind of half fallen down. And so I just took some leftover house paint, mixed up colors, and went out behind the fence and painted an American flag on it.
Oh,
And I thought, this is what I need to do.
yeah.
And later that day, and I have no idea if what I did inspired someone or if they got the message from the universe some other way, but on the beach in Ocean Beach was an American flag made out of rocks.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
Oh.
huge, and you could see it as you flew over. So airplanes coming in and out, because we were on the flight path for Lindbergh Field. And so people could see it as they flew over. And it was so cool.
That's cool.
That's
That's cool.
amazing. I think I lived, no, I didn't live in OB in 9/11, but I was in San Diego. And one of the
Mhm.
things that really blew my mind at that time, and I was teaching fourth grade, um, is the plane stopped.
Right.
Yes, that was
And I
so
mean, we were used to hearing them every 2 minutes, and it
Exactly.
was eerie at our
Ex-
house because
I
there were
bet.
none.
Exactly. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
Funny you bring up the American flag because that is my next art piece. So I have inherited a flag from my mother-in-law that she flew in front of the house. And it's tattered and because it's been outside on her front
Hmm.
and it's faded. And I picked it up and because I took it down, and it's so sad because I do feel I don't want to fly it right now the
Yeah.
way it's changed, right? Like September 11th, we're flying the flag, we're here, and like now I'm like, I don't want to fly my flag. I come from a military background. Every man close to me in my life and my family has gone to war, except for my husband. He's the first, and my son who have not gone to war.
Hmm.
I've done so much research on my family. That was also a big thing that I did songwriting through education, where I would research. We did do a lot of teaching of World War II and some of to third and fourth graders, which is interesting. I think we should do it when they're older, but we did. So I would do songwriting as part of the output, right? You're learning all this information. Let's write a song about a story of people. And so I'm going to do an art installation with this flag and embroider all of my family members, my great uncles who were killed in action in World War II,
Oh,
my grandfather, who was a World War II vet, my grandmother, who was a woman in the Army Corps, my dad, who fought in Vietnam, and my brother, who's done 2 tours in Iraq and a tour in Afghanistan, and embroider all of their names, their ranks, on the flag. And those who died, this is where the performance art comes in because I've been to enough performance art shows. I will put real blood on the ones that.
Mm.
But I also thought today, I think I'm going to do a video documentary about it so that it's kind of multimedia and
Right.
tell their stories.
Yeah. You could even
And
do it live on Twitch and record it, and
true.
people could watch you do it.
That's
I don't know
true.
how to do that, but Julian knows.
Yeah, Julian would know.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
funny because he wants to do video documentaries. And so I was like,
Oh,
oh, maybe he'll do it
outstanding.
with me.
I
Yes.
that.
And we're going to my brother's change of command. He's ending his career. His career is coming to an end in military. He's that the last year, and so he does a change of command in June. And so we're all going to his change of command. So it'd be a great time to do an interview of him because he's the only living member now that
Right.
everyone else has passed away.
Wow.
So I think approach that to him and see if he'll sit for like a documentary interview with us, but then
Mm-hmm.
have this, flag that represents my entire family who fought for the freedom of our country. And it's really interesting and that's how, so for me, that's how I can deal with what's happening right now, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's so personal because I think we all have such a personal story that's going on right now in our culture, in our world, and with our country. That's my personal story, is that I feel torn because my family has fought for this country, and died for this country.
Yep.
And then to see all that's going on right now is just like, and then run into my friend, who's telling her story. And I'm just like, what can I do? And it just like came to me when I saw this flag. I'm like, that's what I need to do.
I love that.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah,
going to frame it behind glass and everything when you get it done?
yeah, because and
Yeah,
then
to preserve it. Yeah.
preserve it. So yeah, Brita, you and I will have to talk about some of the medium, like, because I have to figure out like what am I going to mount it on? Probably some kind of wood, something stronger than canvas, but I don't,
Right.
and then yeah, I'm not really a good blood person. I envision, like how in like Vikings they take the knife and they cut their hand and
Oh,
then but in performance art, which my good friend John Beaumay, please, I give you permission to correct me on all of this because he teaches this at the University of Victoria. So I've only learned about this through him and through going to them, but there's a lot of in performance art, I've seen a lot of this where one guy like sewed the American flag onto his skin. Like
oh,
it's really like that. So I want my blood on the flag of my great uncles who
yeah.
died. So it's like it's and how that impacts us. I've
Mm-hmm.
been talking about this for years, like how even though I've never met my great uncles, but I was very close to my grandmother and their lives and how they were killed in the war and then what happened after does still trickle down to me.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if, we don't think about that because it didn't happen here
Right.
Right.
or I never met them, but it impacted us quite a bit. And every time someone goes to war, I know my family was impacted when my dad went. I know that it's very hard when my brother went. So that's my new project that
I love it.
I'm gonna do.
I do too. I can't wait to see it.
Me too.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you should do some, yeah, have Julian even just do, even if you don't want to do it on Twitch, like the full, like have him
Yeah.
grab, some video throughout the process.
Right.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. A
Do a
good
little
interview
snippet.
with you before you start, and then some pictures of the flag as it is, and then your ideas, and then see how those change as you start working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was wild how it all came together when I looked at that flag. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, just like
this is, I have, and it's so amazing all the technology we have now. So I can do all of that. I have songs about them. It's kind of like I've been gathering all this stuff and it's like
Mm-hmm.
not knowing how to do the real output, which that's the output, right? The output is
Right.
I'm going to tell the story of
Mhm.
my family and my heritage basically behind the flag,
Yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so, yeah, I felt like that was, and Brita and I have talked so much about our histories. Like I'm a history person. I want to know everything
Yeah.
about everybody's history, which is some tell me is inappropriate. Not everybody
I,
wants to talk
I,
about it.
No, they
well, and
don't.
on the topic of like of the actual output of things, Brita, how has that been different for you since the output of your art has had to shift and change, whether it's
Yeah.
piano or your art? Do you,
Well,
you
yeah.
know,
I mean, my painting has always been large format with very bright, bold colors and dark lines. Um, the other thing, though, that's really come about is podcasting.
yeah.
And my boys say, "Oh my God, everybody in the world has a podcast now," because my mother has too. And I understand, and I'm sure they don't listen, but that's okay. A few people do. I'm getting some of the episodes have several thousand downloads, so somebody's listening.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the newest one is the No More Elections
Yeah.
podcast. And it's really my effort at civics education.
Okay.
They're shorts, so they're no more than 3 minutes.
Hmm.
And I take whatever's current in the news about elections and say what is legal according to our Constitution and any laws that have been passed in between and amendments, and what is not, and what needs to be challenged. And people are not challenging some of these things.
Right.
And it's pretty obvious that I have a viewpoint, but I'm not stressing it and I'm not trying to convince somebody to change their minds. I'm just saying this is the civics lesson behind all of this. And this is what we all need to know so that we can make informed choices.
Yeah.
And I'm really having fun with it.
Yeah.
Good.
And I'm not doing it on any kind of a regular basis. I've got 3 episodes ready to record that I've, kind of written out notes on. But when I'm ready, I'll do 1 or 2 or 4 or whatever and put them up and see what happens.
I
Well,
love it.
and why did I listen to one of them today? Because I listen to your podcast off and on, and I know, like, you have the other one, the Loving Parent podcast, which we can come to because that's all about parenthood. That's all about history
Right.
because I love that part. So, but I
Yeah.
did listen to your new one, No More Elections, right? That's, yeah, No More Elections
Yeah.
podcast. And one of the quotes, one of the things that you called for our political leaders to be, which I thought was really interesting, and I think we can apply it to art, and I love this, can I apply it to
Hmm.
ourselves, is to be bold, be authentic, and act like yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what we want now. I mean, I think
Right.
we hear that too in music. Like, I'm hearing that, and we want to hear the authenticity of somebody. And now, with all of the stuff we have, that we have the availability to see everything that's going on.
Yeah.
The days of kind of presenting this, like, this is what we want people to think is going on, are
This
over.
messaging thing, that's what
Yeah,
is killing me. What should our message be? I don't give a shit what your message is.
Hmm.
You
right.
can bleep that if you need to.
Totally
I
fine.
want to know what you really think, what you believe, and how you're going to put that forward to help all of
Yes.
us.
Yes.
Yes. Spot on.
I
Yeah.
think we're hungry for that. That's kind of, well, and that's why Chelsea and I, we don't really do a lot of producing on this podcast because we
Mhm.
want you to see this is just what we do.
Yeah.
We were doing this once a week anyways. We were getting together and talking about our art and what we want to do. And just like we had that little interaction where I'm telling you my new project and you guys are giving me ideas, like, that's what's so important when you get together. We want people to experience what we're doing and then maybe be able to do it themselves. And I love that you bring up the podcast because that is another way of output too.
Yeah.
You have a tremendous amount of knowledge and you are such a good researcher, Brita. I mean, you
I
really,
am. I love it.
yeah, I know. It's so fun. I love it too. We talk about all kinds of stuff. And I think I'm just so proud of you. And we need
Oh,
you.
thank you, Christy.
Yeah, we need you. We need you in all these areas because you also, the book that she wrote, I will say, Secret Families, Problem Families, I think is a very important book. And if you want, we're going to put a link, put links in this to her
Yeah,
art
put a link to
and
my website
her
for the Loving
website.
Parent podcast,
And I,
and people can get it that way.
yeah, and I think it's really important because, you and I have had these conversations before that our histories, our past, how we've been raised, how our cultures have raised children, not even just
Hmm.
our families, but how our cultures have raised children is having the biggest impact on us right now,
Right.
Hmm.
which is what's happening in our world.
Yeah.
And if we can't talk about our lives, and a lot of it is, for me, music and art has saved me in this area because looking at our past can be so painful.
Hmm.
I have to have an output for it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And dance was mine growing up. I always talk about that a lot.
Hmm.
I don't think I would have survived junior high and high school without dance. Literally, like,
Yeah.
literally would maybe not have survived it. It's the only class I attended
Yeah.
regularly in high school and got A's in. And I think it's so important. And when you talk about, give us a background on the secret families, problem families too, because I think it all connects. I'm not taking us off the No More Elections podcast because
That's fine.
I think this is, from what our conversations have been in the past, Brita, is that these are the root issues
Hmm.
that we're trying to get to as a country
Right.
and as as a human race, basically.
Right.
And the secret part has been a big problem for everybody. Like, I
A
don't want to talk
long
about
time.
stuff,
Yep.
right? And that goes into like, be bold, be authentic, be yourself. You can't do it if you have secrets.
No, no.
So,
As Claudia Black told us in her book in the 70s, the rules in a dysfunctional family, which is what people were calling it then, were don't talk, don't trust, and don't feel. And I didn't like the word dysfunctional families because those families were functioning,
Mhm.
maybe not in a healthy way. So I started thinking about, okay, what's different between so-called functional and dysfunctional family? And in my family, it was secrets.
Mhm.
And there wasn't just one secret. There was an alcoholic in my family. There
Mhm.
was an overeater in my family. There was a sex abuser in my family. uh, Somebody in my family was sexually abused as a child at church.
Oh.
So there was religious abuse in my family, and nobody talked about any of it. And there was this underlying unspoken rule that I won't talk about your secret if you don't talk about mine.
Mhm.
And that's how the secrets were kept.
Mhm.
Now, secrets are shameful.
Mhm.
If you can voice the secret, then it becomes a problem. And yeah, problems are hard, but problems can be solved.
Mhm.
Secrets cannot be solved until we talk about them, until we get them out in the open. So once I realized that, I thought, okay, this is the way I want to present families. And
Mhm.
everybody's on a continuum. Everybody's got some secrets in their families. Some families are dependent on those secrets. And then the healthier we get, we move toward the problem end of the continuum where we can let those secrets out, turn them into problems, and solve them.
and I think in doing some of that, art is a great way to help you do that.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because writing is a huge one for me. Painting
Yep.
has been a big one, dance, music, because I have a sim. So I don't think this is, and I don't think these are isolated things. I think this is an American culture thing. Honestly,
Well,
I
it's a
don't think
Western
it's
culture thing.
the Western
Totally.
culture thing. It's not individual. And I think the more people talk about it, my therapist calls it speaking the unspeakable. Oh,
Hmm.
it's just
Mhm.
like you to be able to speak the unspeakable. And
Yeah.
when we hear other people speak it, whether it's through art, media is huge, podcasts are huge. I have learned so much from podcasts because I hear somebody speak an unspeakable, and
Hmm.
then it lessens like what happened in my family
Right.
or what
Yeah.
I was told you should never talk about in public or whatever,
Right.
right?
Makes you feel less alone too.
Oh my
Well, and it gives
gosh,
us
yes.
access to so many more people than we could possibly have in our daily lives
Yes.
in
So
person.
true.
Oh yeah, that's a great way to look at it too. Well,
Mhm.
and I think Happy Child that you did was a big part of that. Like,
Hmm.
is educating people. So now we get to have like this is an education for people,
Right.
like for ourselves and for other people. And I loved something in that book that you share because I talk about this a lot because it struck me. There's no such thing as a perfect family.
Yes.
Right.
You're either a secret family or a problem family because
Right.
everybody has problems.
Mhm.
Hmm.
If you
And
don't, there's something wrong with you. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Then you've
yeah,
got secrets.
then you've got
Right.
secrets. And I don't think it's, there is an appropriate way to like do that because some people, you know, uh, it's hard, we're all at a different continuum. I love how you say the
Hmm.
continuum. And I have to remember that because I can be a little bit more open now about stuff because I have been speaking the unspeakable in my family and with people. But not everybody is there yet. So if I don't want to
Right.
just tell somebody everything that's happened in the past of my family, and also that you can hold two things true at the same time.
Right.
Somebody can
Mhm.
be a decorated hero and also an abuser at the same time.
Absolutely.
Somebody can be these two we there's a lot of black and white
Yeah,
ideas and thinking that still goes on in the Western culture. If you're this, then you can't be this. Well, that's not true. You can
right.
Mhm.
be, you can, there, those two can, be going at the same time.
Right.
Um, I think this is an interesting time too, because God, so much is unraveling so fast in front of us.
Mhm. And so much needs to unravel,
Right.
needs to continue unraveling. And yeah, so I wanted to go back to something that we were talking about, Brita, because I was just curious for you, um, your art, whether it's music or your painting, and this, you might find this a really like obvious question, but I'm still going to ask it for our listeners. How much of your life inspires your art, like your pieces, and maybe I guess maybe focusing on your painting, like everything that you paint, is that inspired by something you see, feel, do things sometimes just hit you like imagination? What is it
Yeah.
like for you?
Good question.
I've been experimenting with some new ideas. When I lived at the beach, I had subjects coming out my ears. I
Yeah.
could literally look out my kitchen window onto the bike path where the dogs would run and people would bicycle, and I could see the ocean. I could see the San Diego River where it went into the ocean there at the estuary. So I always had wonderful, happy, and people would say, "Oh my gosh, this is happy art." And it sold like crazy. I would do street fairs and be sold out before the street fair
Wow.
was over. So had to raise my prices a little bit
Yeah.
after that. That's what that teaches me. But now that I'm in this little town in Illinois, for one thing, we don't get outside as much. We have
Yeah.
whole periods of the year where we can't go out. It's just
Yeah.
bitter cold.
Yeah.
And I also don't know the people as well.
Yeah.
And people don't come here on vacation.
Right.
They don't move here because they want to be at the beach or, we moved here because of family.
Okay.
People say, "Why did you leave San Diego?" And before
Right.
they can even finish, I go, "Grandchildren."
Yeah.
They win all the time, hands down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've had some trouble figuring out what I want to paint. And I've started doing more abstracts.
Mm.
And I like to mix paint up in vitamin bottles. I save everything
Oh.
to mix paint
Oh,
in.
that's a
So I don't
great
have to
idea.
mix whole bunches of it, but
Oh,
I can
yeah.
screw the top on and save it. Well,
Yeah.
once you get down toward the bottom, it dries out anyway because it's
Oh, okay.
acrylic paint. So
Sure.
I scoop out the paint and I just throw it on a piece of masonite or a canvas. And then I look at it for a while and I start sketching around it or doing something, and I just make something out of it. The last one I did was orchids. I had some yellow and orange paint and I just threw it at the canvas kind of willy-nilly and came back later, put some stems and some grass, and it had a midnight blue background. Wonderful painting, sold right away.
Oh,
I wish I hadn't sold it now. I really liked it.
yeah. Did you take a picture of it at all?
Oh yeah, of
Okay,
course.
good.
I document everything. I try
Nice.
to document the process of painting most things.
Love that.
That's
Yes.
Yeah.
interesting. I
And for
love.
my, oh, sorry, I just had a quick question
No, go.
on, just for my knowledge. What is masonite? Like, is
Yes,
that, I'm
thank
thinking
you.
stone.
Yeah. No, masonite is a form of particle board. I believe it's sawdust and concrete. And
Oh,
one side of it is smooth. And once in a while, you'll find both sides smooth, but the other side is really rough. It's
oh,
cheap as all get out. You
oh,
can buy a 4x8 sheet of masonite, 4 foot by 8 foot for, I don't know, it's probably more like $20 now. It used to be
yeah.
half of that. And just, they'll cut it for you at Home Depot into whatever size you want.
Yeah. That's
Put some
awesome.
gesso on it and paint on it. And
Instead of
it,
buying like canvases that can
instead
be
of buying
pricey.
canvas. And this stuff will last forever.
And is it
Oh,
heavy or light?
Depending on how thick you get it, I get the
Okay.
1/4 inch.
okay.
Okay.
You can also get 1/8 inch, but you can get 1/2 inch, and that's really heavy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you for asking that because I was like, okay, this is maybe not I'm not going to ask this question
I
if
was like,
it's
I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask it.
how
No,
the
no.
artists know.
This is the education part of your podcast.
Well, I
Exactly.
had it down on my, actually, you're so brave, Chelsea, because I wrote it down on my list to ask Brita after the podcast.
No, this
Yeah.
is why we're doing this podcast.
I
We're
know.
asking her
Right.
these
Thank
questions
you.
now.
Thank you
Yep.
for your authenticity. That's awesome. I like that
Yeah.
idea because I
Yeah.
like actually painting on wood better than canvas too.
Uh-huh.
And it just, I don't know, I just like the natural feel of it. But what I find interesting too is that I like how you kind of just throw it on throw it on the masonite and then let it come together
Uh-huh.
as opposed to like I don't know if this is going to make sense, the other way around, how I would think, okay, I'm going to try to do orchids. I'm going to look at that orchid. I'm going to try.
Right.
I can't do it that way, but I could maybe try to do it your way because it's more intuitive
Yeah.
and it's more like I don't know how to explain it, like
Yeah.
letting
You're
it come
feeling
out.
out the art piece that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send you a
Yeah.
copy of the picture, and if you find a way to put it in the podcast, you
Oh,
can
we'd
do
love
that.
that.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
The same thing with Joe. I'll send you Mother and Joe.
please
Awesome.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to put that in.
Well, tell us a little bit. This is something about your piano playing. Tell us a little bit about playing at the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yes.
right.
People can search for this. It is Super Bowl 1988 halftime show, and it was in San Diego. The idea was that it was 1988. There are 88 keys on a piano. And
Yeah.
so they had 88 pianos on the field. Our piano was on a little wagon, and a tractor pulled us out onto the field. And there were 44 white pianos with people in black tuxes playing, and 44 white pianos with people in black tuxes playing. Did I say that right? Anyway, black and white opposite.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And yeah, so we rehearsed out at San Diego State. They had a band from San Diego State and USC. So they had all those folks marching. We had Chubby Checker singing a song. We had some aerobics people doing dances.
Oh,
I had a
Jane Fonda.
cheerleader on top of
Yeah.
my piano. Yeah, so it was really fun. We started off with the Grieg A minor concerto, which starts at the top of the piano and goes bum 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 bum. And then from that we went into a glissando and a boogie and
And you were all
Gershwin and
playing the same thing all together?
everybody playing the same thing,
Wow.
and
I know,
it was
impressive.
fabulous. And at the end of it, we all just looked at each other and went, "Oh my God, can we do that again?" It was
Seriously.
so fun.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
That's
energy. Oh my
amazing.
gosh. Yeah.
yeah.
What a neat experience.
Yeah, so it's on YouTube. It's on in Spanish and in English, and people can search for it if they want to watch it. It's a great show.
I might throw in a clip of that too if I can.
Okay, yeah. Oh, and the
Um,
Rockettes were there. That was another fun part is the Rockettes were there. Yeah, so I had a Rockette dancing in front of my piano and a cheerleader on top.
nice.
So exciting.
Oh
It
my God.
was.
How fun. Like just how neat.
Yeah.
Right place, right
Well,
time.
and
How did that all how did
when
that
I saw the sign go up at San Diego State for the auditions, and
oh,
Radio City
okay.
Music Hall produced this, and they sent a producer to audition us.
Mm.
And I thought, I'm not going to do that. And then I thought, you know what? I may lose all of my vision someday and not be able, I could still see to read music, but I knew I had the eye disease. And then I thought, I do not want to be 100 years old in my rocking chair thinking, gosh, I wish I had done that.
Yeah.
And that motivates me to do a lot of stuff. I do not want to have any more regrets than I have to.
Yeah.
And art is scary. And I could have a lot of regrets if I don't at least try something.
I love
And
that.
I'm a chicken. I really am. But I push myself
So
to
yeah,
try something so I don't have those regrets.
I love that. So on that note, what are some of the things that you do to help push yourself, like to get through those? I mean, and that's putting you on the spot, but can you,
Yeah.
for people that struggle with that, like myself?
Well, I mean, one of the things is I might as well try. The worst thing they can say is no. And I've learned that I have to be in a really good place psychologically to hear no. So
Mhm.
if I can't hear no, I don't go. I
Okay.
wait.
Yeah.
until I'm in a spot where I can hear no. The other thing is, like I said, visualizing myself as an older old lady, not wanting to have regrets,
Mhm.
not wanting to wish I had done things. And I have a pretty darn good support system now. And so if I tell people this is what I'm thinking about doing, and I think it's crazy, almost everybody will say, "Yeah, I might be crazy, but go ahead, try it. We'll back you up. You know,
Nice.
we'll come watch. We'll be there, whatever." So, yeah,
I love that.
I just force myself, really, I do. I try to be in as good a mental and physical condition as possible when I force myself,
Okay.
but I don't know anybody who goes skipping into these projects and go, "Oh my gosh, how much fun is this going to be?"
That's so true.
No, we're terrified most of the time.
I love that. Nobody goes skipping in. It's so
Yeah,
true.
I like the idea that you talk about the support too, because when I met you, Brita, I was not doing any of my art or
I know
music.
you weren't. I couldn't believe that.
Really?
No, I was like
Wow.
really like in a bad spot and I was really in a lot of grief. My aunt had just died,
Oh,
who, was
Your
young.
second aunt had
My
just
second,
died.
yeah, and they were young,
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
50 or she was 59 and died of a rare liver disease, and then her older sister died too. Just these really odd, rare
yeah.
diseases, and um, I was just so, and what I really kind of saw in them, I guess, was that they had given up. Like my aunt that died of the rare liver
Hmm.
disease was a songwriter.
Mm.
She was a singer, and I remember being 8 years old, and she wrote a song for her best friend's wedding. And I had gone to the wedding with her because she actually took care of me all the time. My parents were kind of gone a lot, so
Yeah.
I was with my aunt a lot, and she sang in front of all these people her own song that she wrote for them, and I was so awestruck by it. And then she gave it up. She kind of she lost herself. She
Hmm.
lost that part of herself for a long
Yep.
time. And I think when I met you, Bree, this is where, okay, this is an important thing that has happened to me all my life. When I am ready, the
Hmm.
mentor or the teacher shows up, and it
Yep.
is my job to say, okay, welcome in. And you were
Yep.
one of those for me, Brita, because I was like in a very, very dark space when she died. It was very hard.
I know.
Mm.
I still cry when I think about it.
I
Yeah.
know.
And I needed art and music so bad, and I could not do it.
I know. You
And
just could not access it
I
right then.
couldn't. And
Mm.
we started talking, and I was so amazed that because she's like this art, and I'd be like, oh, and I was more focused on the secret family, problem family stuff,
Right.
not the art part.
Christy
And
is my book distributor. If you need a book, Christy almost
then,
always
no, I
has
give
some
them
in San
away.
Diego. So
Because
yeah,
it helped
just
me so much. And my son was younger. Like we were really, I had to re-parent myself, and I had to like
hmm.
learn how to parent him in a different
Right.
way at the same time. And Brita really helped me with that. And then it was like once I kind of got my bearings with that, um, I could like open up to art, and she like that's where the support part has been so helpful because when I'm scared, I call her. I don't know, and then we walk through it and she's like,
Uh-huh.
it's okay, go ahead. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah. Or maybe it's
um,
not okay right now. Maybe this is
yeah,
not the time. Yeah.
yeah, we do that too. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I can wait. And I just appreciate you so much because I think
Oh,
that
thank
support
you.
is so important. And I know Chelsea and I do that with each other. Like you taught me
Hmm.
how to do that with
Right.
her. And so, Chelsea and I met in these coffees that we were doing,
Hmm.
and then clicked, and now we do this, and we definitely do that too. We call like, so our
Right.
support system has grown,
And it's
you
Uh-huh.
know
yeah, it's so important. Yeah, and I get to
Yeah.
experience some of the things that Christy has learned from you. So thank you, Brita, because I get to
Well,
experience some of that too. So
you're welcome. And I mean, Christy, you have just been an inspiration. I love watching you grow, and it just makes me think, okay, I need to get back to my painting, or I need to get over to that piano bench. And besides the podcast, Chelsea, you really poked me a while ago when you talked about your novel, because I've had one in my head for I don't know how long. And
Yeah.
several friends and I have started at different times writing our novels, and we never get very far with it, and we just dissolve into talking. And but
Sure.
I'm gonna try this again because I've got a great one. It's a family saga,
I love
and
it.
I had it in my head that I needed to wait until my dad died, but he is not going to die. He's going to live forever. So
Goodness.
I'm almost 75 and he's still alive. He's 96, I think.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So
do it. And if you want to this class that my friend's doing, I'll throw a little plug out there for her. Like
okay.
it's so great because it's just a small online, it's all through internet. And right now it's my best friend and then this other gal that I happen to meet. Such a cool story of how we met. Um,
Hmm.
and she's in the class. So it's just a small collaborative, not a collaborative like our my friend,
Right.
she's got her degree in creative writing and in education and stuff, and so it's just neat. And this is, let's see, this coming Monday will be the third week, um
Okay.
and you know how, like, I don't know if you guys do this, I get a little skeptical, if my friend's going to teach me something. I
Uh-huh.
don't I don't mean to get skeptical, but I'm like, oh well, I know them. How do I not, I probably know
Right.
everything already that they're going to teach because I know them.
Right.
What wouldn't I have learned that along the way in my friendship? Blew me out of the
Yeah.
water. Like
Yeah.
totally different environment. So I encourage that, for our listeners,
Yeah.
anybody, if you have people that in your life that do things like that or whatever they
Hmm.
are, give them the benefit of the doubt. Like it's a
Yeah.
totally different environment. Anyways, but
Yeah.
it's really neat group because like on Mondays, and that's what we do right now. The schedule obviously can change, but
Right.
we get together. She teaches for about an hour and a half. Slash, there's like free writing in there and
Hmm.
things. Um, and then two more times during the week we do a dedicated. We all get online, but then we mute ourselves and we write.
Right.
And basically the idea of like morning pages where you're not picking up the pen, but you have whatever it is you're working on,
Right.
and we sit there and we're together. We don't really talk about it. We come together at the end and talk, for like 15-20 minutes.
Hmm.
um but it's such a neat experience. Anyways, that just
Yeah.
made me think of it, so I'll, shameless plug for that. But
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put a link to it if she's taking new people.
yeah, I
Yeah.
totally will. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, that's so neat. You do it,
Yeah.
Brita. You've got
I'm
an
gonna.
amazing story. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And how cool is that? And
Yeah.
going back to when Christy and I very first started this podcast, one of the first things we talked about was community and collaboration to
Hmm.
whatever level that may be, So
Right.
I love that it almost always comes back to that of like, even if you're doing your art on your own, you need that community. You need that, people behind you to
Yeah.
back you up, to push you, to kick you in the butt when it's like, I know
Right.
I need to do, like my girlfriends, my very best girlfriends, if I bring something to them and I'm like, I think I need to do this, they don't even question. They're like, if you think you need to do it, then you need to do it and you're going to do it,
Hmm. Yeah.
in a very loving way. But I'm like,
Right.
but it gives me the courage, that kind of that final boost of courage to
Hmm.
overcome my obstacles. I deal with
Right.
a ton of insecurity even now. Like I feel so much more secure in who I am, but I still deal with the insecurity with art. I think it will always be there. It's just
Hmm.
a natural part of it. I think that's
Well, it's so vulnerable.
it's so
We are
vulnerable.
putting that open, vulnerable part of ourselves out
Yes.
there for everybody to see, and you can't fake it.
Oh,
People know
exactly.
if you're faking it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I can't stand, that's one of those things for me that like,
Hmm.
oh, it's intense when I know somebody's faking something.
Yeah.
Like it's even more difficult for me than maybe some other people to deal with that.
Yeah.
I think because of my own, you know, problems when I've been, inauthentic or, trying to fake it, not trying, but trying to
Yeah.
impress somebody or whatever, so
Yeah.
I pick up on it real fast.
I did a really
Yes.
bad one the other day, and I've got
Oh,
to figure out how to make amends for it. I was in a 12-step meeting on Zoom, and this person shared some things that just made my skin crawl.
Ugh, yeah.
And I've listened to people preach at these
Yeah.
meetings before, and I do not like it.
Yeah.
And so at the end, everybody's going, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I thought under my breath, I said, oh, thank you, in a really sarcastic tone of voice. And somebody said they caught it. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make an amends for that. But it's like, shoot.
You're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe that was okay.
I don't know. Yeah,
In some
we
ways.
don't allow crosstalk. So anything
Oh,
that comes
gotcha.
across as judgmental, I should not have done that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's fair.
totally. Yeah, yeah. And I get to role model for people that, I've been at this 40 years and I still make mistakes and I still have to come back and make amends. And I
Yep.
fucking hate making amends.
Right? I know.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so hard. It's like you need to, and it kind of feels good afterwards because you're like, okay, I did
yeah.
the right thing. But getting to that point where you're like, I don't want to say this.
Well, and it keeps me from saying a lot of stuff I shouldn't say because, a little voice goes, you're going to have to make amends if you open your mouth.
But
Filter.
self-reflection,
Yes.
self-reflection like that is so important to
Hmm.
be authentic.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because if you don't know how to self-reflect or
Yes.
and make amends, it is impossible to be authentic.
Yeah.
You are
Yes.
just operating in a role, in my
Right.
opinion. You know,
Right.
or like, or in secrets, or like, in a mask.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when it applies to like art and writing, and being authentic, yeah, you have to know how to self-reflect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's something I wish was more. I mean, they do it. They teach it quite a bit in elementary school here in California.
Yeah, in California they do. Every place else, well, not every place else, but a lot of other places, the parents get really upset and think that kids are being taught an alternate religion or a philosophy that doesn't go with the parents. And I don't understand how they get there, but I think
Right?
they're
Well,
afraid of
it's
something they
I
don't know.
agree. Yeah.
Well, here
Yeah.
too, there's a lot of it. A lot of it is achievement based. So, like
Yes.
what I watched, and which is not authentic to children and young adults, is that, and it's been going on. I think it really took a turn, like in when I started teaching in 2000. It's
Hmm.
when it really took a turn away from, and this is where like creativity was kind of pulled out of
Yeah.
education and nationally. And
Hmm.
and we had the No Child Left Behind and this
Right.
whole achievement. The underlying thing, and I don't think people know this because this is, unless you're in education, you might know this. But at the time in 2000, we as United States started to really become concerned that we were going to be beat out by China and India,
Right.
and
Right.
that we were losing our status or our top, ranking
Right.
in
Everything
science
had to
and
shift to STEM,
yeah,
science, technology, engineering, and math.
and
Yeah.
and and everyone had to be reading, and they started comparing the United States to
Whoops.
China and India.
Yeah.
And the thing that never is said in that comparison is that in the United States, legally, every child in the United States has a legal right to education, no
Hmm.
matter your economic status.
Right.
In India and in China, that is not the case.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So we were comparing apples to oranges, really.
Yeah.
So we're taking like all these test scores from the United States kids and comparing them to the test scores of the kids who in China who are only allowed to go to school.
Right. And they are chosen specifically
Yeah.
for certain
Oh,
reasons.
And same
And
for in
yeah.
India. It does
Yeah.
not every child in India goes to school.
Right.
So
wow.
Yeah.
it's like comparing apples and oranges, but people don't think about it that way. We
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't really realize that like all of our test scores. So then it becomes this like we got into this real race of having to be the highest achievers, having to your
Yeah.
kids to be the best. And I
Yeah.
mean,
You
it was
sign your
going,
kids up for preschool and private school before they're even born, you
yeah.
know.
And
Yeah.
it's, but it wasn't there, and the creativity got kind of sucked out of
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
education. And well, there's so many studies, and I think I've talked about this almost on every podcast because it's, like that we do, Chelsea, that,
Yeah, that's okay.
there's so many studies that show that when you have music and art, you do actually better in
Mhm.
math and sciences
Oh, totally.
because it's a way, and but we continue in education to try to compare
Yeah.
and achieve, and we have lost that personally, like now it
Hmm.
didn't work, it didn't
Mhm.
work.
Right.
And so, but you have all these kids, like as they get into adults, who then are living in this, like, they've been trained. You've been
Yes.
trained how to live in education and not learned how to, you know, have that rounded education. Like you had to really pick schools as
Right. And
a parent
specialized. Yeah.
if you wanted your kid to get a fully rounded education, which in my
Hmm.
opinion is music, art, literature,
Oh, yeah.
history, and
It's
math.
the liberal arts, what we
The
used to
liberal
call
arts.
liberal arts. Yeah.
Well, I'm a
There's a
liberal arts major, so maybe that's why I
yeah.
got
Yeah.
so into that. But yeah,
There's a high school down here that oh my gosh, I would have killed to be in this high school when I was going to
yes,
school, and it's just phenomenal because it's got that rounded, and
Yeah.
but it gives the freedom for the kids to express themselves. And you know it's just my niece, my best friend's daughter goes there, and it's
Hmm.
so neat to see her flourish. It's not an easy school,
Right.
they still expect,
yep,
a lot from their students, but it's just neat to see her get to try these different things, and there's freedom.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, what might that how might that have changed my life,
Right.
brought me into my art sooner had I been
Hmm.
able to go to a place like that, and
Right.
I think that's what gets me excited about maybe someday being able to use this podcast to help even one student, but
Hmm.
I just keep feeling this percolating underneath it. I'm like, there's something I'm supposed to be doing someday to help to help students be able to express and experience art in a way that we just don't have in the schools anymore for the most part.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know what that looks like.
I did a songwriting course at the middle school
Hmm.
for a while. They have like some of the schools will do like after school,
Hmm.
for like a class, like a seventh period or whatever. And instead of the kids going to like in middle school, they're too big to go to like the YMCA or whatever.
Right.
So they would offer all of these extra, that's when you would get your art or music.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I offered, there was jazz band that was going on, and then I would offer the songwriting. So the kids that really wanted to learn how to be songwriters came to me, and then some of them would do jazz band first and
Right.
learn some of their instrument, which was great, and then they'd come to me. And it really was a cool thing. It was a lot of work because it was just a lot of work to get it
Yeah.
coordinated and have to get insurance. Like there's all this stuff that goes on, but I could tell you that we didn't have all this Zoom stuff anymore. So at the time,
Right.
so that could be like something to think about, Chelsea, if you wanted to do like a songwriting course
Hmm.
for, high schoolers, or middle
Yeah.
school or high school. And, teach what you've been taught, as far as how to be a songwriter, because there's so much that goes into songwriting that you don't realize.
Hmm.
My students would compare themselves to the final production of, whoever it was that they were in love with, at the time,
Hmm.
Taylor Swift, Maroon 5,
Right.
Right.
Adele, or whoever it was. And I'd be like, okay, guys, there's so much production in this, and
Yeah.
so we talked a lot about what it's like when you first write the song and what it's going to sound like versus what it looks like when the song is fully produced,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
very, very misleading to our youth.
Hmm.
And
Right.
now even more so with like all the production stuff that's not even
Yeah,
real instruments,
very
right?
true. And
Yeah. And it's getting
Susan,
more and more AI driven too. So there's
yeah, it
that.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, Brita, I may need to ask you to be my mentor, because I I no, I deal with, even as I'm thinking about that, I'm like, I'm dealing with imposter syndrome where I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, I can't teach. I don't have any. I mean, I have a couple songs on Spotify, big deal. Technically anybody can get on Spotify, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I actually have to offer? And I'm like fighting it, even as those words are
Hmm.
coming my head. I'm like, you know what? There's somebody out there somewhere that needs your help,
Right.
that can benefit from what you have to offer, even if it's
Right.
not, all the children in the world or all the adults in the world. Like there's somebody out there, you know.
Yeah.
And if I'm that passionate about it, I need to do something about it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, my
Yep. I
friend.
agree.
Yeah. My friend who's also a writer who introduced me in Drew, actually. So he's one of Drew's friends as well, too. Um, he and I always joke about this thing like if one person, your Eskimo out there, it's your Eskimo like is moved by your piece, you've done your job. Like
yes.
it's
Yeah.
it's like because we also are fed this belief that we have to have like we're not anything unless we're successful in this
Right.
way that our
Yeah.
Right.
culture deems successful, and I don't
Right.
see that as successful anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. On that note, Brita, what is, because I feel like looking at your life and hearing your story, I feel like you've got success all over the place. And it may not necessarily be what, like what Christy was saying, like it may not be what the world says is success, but you also have that too. You've sold paintings,
Yeah.
you have a book, you have a podcast.
Yeah.
She played
What
at
are
Yeah.
the
you
Super Bowl. I mean, you
I
don't
know.
get
I
paid
played
at
in
the
the
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
yeah, what I mean, and I'm not sure what the question is there, but I just, success for you, is it what you thought it would be? And if, and or any other thoughts on that, like what you're, what you've done.
Well, I'm not world famous,
And
but
that's okay.
I've
Yeah.
been on lots of radio shows. I don't think I've ever been on a television show, maybe once,
Yeah.
local in San Diego,
For piano.
about my
Oh,
book.
nice.
And I don't know what to say except success comes in all kinds of levels, and part of it is I have to be happy with what I do and produce and put out there.
Yeah.
And then if anybody likes it, to me, that's a success,
Mhm.
and like I say, I'm not world famous. I'm not even state famous, but I think I have something to offer. And
Yeah.
so I put it out there.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Um, on that note, is there anything else that you want to share with people about yourself, about your art, as we kind of wrap up? I mean, anything that hits you, and take your time.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Something crossed my mind a minute ago, but that's what things do these days. They
Oh, I know. That's
cross.
why I have to write things down.
I know. Gosh.
Yeah, take your time. I mean,
Yeah.
ponder.
One of the things that I have really loved is watching my kids try things and now my grandkids.
Oh, yes.
And that has been so much fun to just encourage them. I do play devil's advocate once in a while.
Sure.
One of them had a toddler and he came to me and said, I think I'm going to buy a motorcycle. And, to be able to say, I'm not sure that's the best idea till this kid is grown.
Yeah.
And then to say it's your decision,
Right.
it's my vote. That's all I have is one vote.
Right.
But when they want to change careers or start a project that is completely foreign, I have a kid who skydives
Woof.
and he competes at the international level. And the first time he jumped solo, he called me and he said, I just wanted to let you know that I'm getting on the plane and I'm going up for my first solo jump. I said, okay, great. Call me when you get down. And I'm just shaking.
Oh, I
And I'm in the
bet.
middle of Ross. It's a
Oh,
Tuesday. And I
oh,
love to shop at Ross on Tuesday because seniors get 10% off.
Okay.
And I'm just standing there shaking, going, what in the hell am I going to do? I just wanted to break down and cry.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I thought, wait a minute, I'm doing something I love.
Yeah.
I'm shopping at Ross on a Tuesday to get my discount. And my son is doing something he loves,
Yeah.
skydiving. And I can't ask for any more for him than that he gets to do something he loves
Yeah.
while I do something I love.
Yeah.
And he got down, he was fine. He's got hundreds of jumps now, and he's actually a skydiving photographer. And he photographs other people when,
Fun.
yeah, they're competing and whatever. So, just being able to validate other people
Yeah.
and to not always say, I mean, I remember going to my dad with an idea for a business when I was 8. And
Oh,
he basically said, I don't know who you think you are.
oh, yeah,
That is the silliest idea. I think he probably said stupidest
probably.
that I've ever heard. And, when you get to be a grown up, we'll talk or something like that.
Ugh,
And I mean, I was in that era from the 50s, raised to be a wife and mom.
yeah.
And I was supposed to teach piano lessons. That's what they
Wow.
thought I could do with my piano.
Yeah.
I could teach lessons to other little kids.
Yeah.
And I've done that, and it's a
Sure.
lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah. So just the way that I can pass it on to the
Yeah.
people in my life, I think has been one of the most important things.
Yeah.
And it's actually Eric Erickson's final stage of life development, which is bitterness versus generativity.
I remember
And
that in psychology classes.
if we do what we want to do in our lives, what gives us joy, we become generative. We want to give back.
Yeah.
If we don't, we become bitter.
Mm.
And I was in a conversation with a bunch of family people not too many years ago. And one of them was trying to get me to do something that I didn't want to do with another family member. And they said, you're going to end up a bitter old woman. And one of the other people at the table spoke up and said, trust me, she is the least bitter person I know.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh,
So that's my goal, is to continue being generative.
I love that.
Well, that's success. I mean,
Yeah,
that is
that's
success.
success.
That is success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that so much, Brita. And I know we could, I feel like
I
we're
know
gonna
we
have
could
to
talk
really,
forever, you
I was gonna say, I
guys.
feel like we should have you
Yeah,
back on again in the near future. I think
I'd love to,
you're
whenever
delightful
you
to
need.
talk with.
Yeah.
So I think that's an amazing bit for this episode.
Yes.
But yes, we need to have you back on because
Okay. Okay.
I love chatting with you.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us, Brita.
Yes,
Um,
thank you. And you can get all of her, we'll post her Instagram. We'll post the Loving Parent podcast. We'll post
mhm.
the No More
The no
Elections
more elections. Yeah.
podcast
Mhm.
link, her Absolute Arts, so her art. So you
Good. Yes.
and we'll
Absolute
find
Arts
the
is a great way.
YouTube. So we'll post a lot of this so you can
Yeah,
look at that and reach out to Brita too if you want through Instagram. And
yeah.
again, please the Creative Download podcast.
Yes. Like and subscribe,
Like
please,
and
Like and
folks.
subscribe.
subscribe. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. To our listeners, we love that you join us. Please feel free to reach out, like Christy was saying earlier, through Instagram, send us a DM or whatever. And if you guys have things you want to hear about, or maybe other artists that you want
yeah.
us to interview, like shoot us that info too, because we're always looking for, other artists to talk to. And yeah. So again, thanks so much, Brita, for being on here.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed every minute.
Yay. Well, and we'll have
Yay.
you on again soon. All
Good.
right. Well, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening to The Creative Download. Hosted and produced by Christy Bruneau and Chelsea Lee. Edited by Chelsea Lee.